Guys. How's everyone do?
You had to unmute your. I did.
Okay, she's got me. I was muted. Sorry. Good evening, guys. How's everyone doing? Um, our prayer almost ran over into the start of the live because we're having internet issues here, of course. But it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. We're gonna make it through this thing. If you hadn't already, go and like the video, like the live stream, and
Yeah. And if it does like glitch out, what you can do is close out of everything and get right back in it, and a lot of times it will work again. I don't know why it does that, but some YouTube, like when I'm watching different things on YouTube, sometimes it does that, and that's what I have to do. So, um, I see Cheyenne, Whitney, Dana, Terry, April, Miss Lynn, my mother-in-law, Bailey. Hey guys. Um,
Miss Lynn, glad you got your comments fixed. You can comment now.
yes.
Gavin still can't, so I don't know what's going on with his, but we'll get it figured out.
Yeah. And at any point, if you guys can't hear us, if someone will just drop in the chat, can't hear you, so we can get producer Bailey on it. Oh, Kinley. Hey, Kinley.
Hey, Kinley.
So, yeah.
Yeah, producer Bailey is on the job, on the spot, and she is ready to fix any problems we have.
Always.
Mackenzie still can't
Still can't comment. It must be something to do with children because Gavin can't either. So that's what I'm wondering, if it's because they're under 18.
Maybe.
I'm not sure, but that's what I'm wondering.
Maybe so.
So, all right.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready. All right,
All right.
let's do this thing. So tonight we're going to talk about a win is a win. Small wins add up and they turn into big wins. And what I mean by that is I always have to tie something back to the Bible or spiritually how it happened in my life. And this verse, 2 Corinthians 3 verse 18 says, "And we all who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory are being transformed into his image with ever increasing glory, which comes from the Lord who is the Spirit." That's the NIV. The New Living Translation says it this way. So all of us who have had the veil removed can see and reflect the glory of the Lord, and the Lord who is the Spirit makes us more and more like him as we are changed into his glorious image. I want to compare the way that your marriage grows to the way that your spiritual walk matures. When I came to the Lord, I was a complete broken mess. And every day was a new day for him to work something out in me. And as 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 18 says, I was being transformed. I am being transformed into who he wants me to be. I'm being transformed into his image, and that is a day by day process. He didn't take me from complete brokenness in this body to complete perfection in this body. I am being made perfect. I am being made in his image, and I'm being sanctified each and every day. He took one thing away from me at the time. The first thing that I can think, obviously we talked about it earlier, a couple of episodes ago, was my anger. But the biggest thing that he took away from me that I did constantly was my language. The language, cursing, foul language. He took that, and then, all right, I thought I'd made it, right? Well, then he puts his finger on something else, and he takes that, and then he puts his finger on something else. So it's always something. He's always working on me. I've never arrived. I'm never perfect on this side of glory. You know, we're justified once, we're sanctified the rest of this life, and then we will be glorified when we make it into heaven. And I think that holds true for our marriages as well. We don't walk into a perfect marriage. It doesn't just happen. Just like my life wasn't a disaster in an instant. I didn't go from having a perfect life to having a disastrous life to again having a perfect life. It was gradually that I got to the place that I was at, and gradually I'm being made more and more like him. You got anything?
I was just listening.
Oh,
He'll preach a sermon over here
Yeah.
for you guys in
that's
just a
why I
minute.
stopped.
No, that's good. And he and I were talking earlier, and we were talking about, what do wins look like in marriage? Well, there's a lot of different things in your marriage that I would consider wins. You know, he he touched on the fact that anger was something that he dealt with, and he was not he was on the anger part, he was changed pretty drastically. I said that in a couple podcasts ago. He was very much, it was like a light switch and he changed. But there were other things that wasn't the case. Such as he was still smoking pot, and I didn't love that, but he cut back. He quit. And but I took every time, he cut back, I was taking that as a win at that point in our lives. And then eventually he quit. And then that was a huge win. And it can be small things. Like there are certain things that drive me nuts. That he does.
I do.
Yeah. Like he doesn't
Believe that if you want to.
Yeah, he doesn't shut the shower curtain, and that drives me crazy. Y'all have heard him talk about before how he leaves his clothes everywhere. Like it looks like he's been raptured a lot in the house.
Mhm.
Like wherever he feels like taking them off, that's where they come off at. And he don't pick them up. Either I pick them up or one of the kids pick them up. Drives me nuts. He does not clean not one screw out of his pocket. So when you go to wash them and you have to stick your hand in that pocket with all the dirt to pull the screws out, and then the dirt's under my fingernails.
This is quickly turning into a Slade bashing session.
No, these are things that you do. Okay? But whenever I'll say this, I let those little things go. He probably don't even know. How long ago has it been since I said something about the screws in the pocket? It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I let it go. Like, it's every time I can let something like that go, it's a win for me too. Because I'm not hounding him about it, and it's not bothering me nearly as bad. Do I like it? No, I don't like it. But
what she's failed to mention in this is I can only defend myself on the shower curtain. That's it.
Okay, that's true.
I have done a much better job of closing the shower curtain.
It's open right now because I left it open just for him when he goes back in there, actually.
And while I was in the shower, I was like, when you get out of here, close the shower curtain. And I didn't do it. But every time I close the shower curtain, that's a win for me. Every time I leave it open, that's when she wants to say something. She doesn't go in there and see that it's closed and say, oh, babe, you closed the shower curtain. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Whitney says, Dre takes the trash out and doesn't put a new bag in the trash can. So I just take it as a win that at least he took the trash out.
Yeah, good job.
Good job, Whitney.
Good job, Dre. You took the trash out and somebody else can put it in, right? It's like the toilet seat. You know, if I have to lift the toilet seat, why shouldn't you have to shut the toilet seat? Makes sense.
I think all ladies on here would agree with me and say the toilet seat thing, because when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you have to go in there to use the restroom and you fall in the toilet, there's a problem.
Look, I've been a victim of my own toilet seat leaving up. It's not fun. It's not fun.
But now ours just goes down by itself.
Yeah, that's great. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to, but it just
But
does.
it does. So
Yeah.
we'll take it.
So, yeah, take the small wins, right? Take the small wins in marriage, take the small wins in your walk with Christ, and eventually these things snowball. And once we get a bunch of small wins,
Yes, Whitney, thank you. Some things just can't be 50-50, like the toilet seat.
but we have to be, we have to be patient with each other. Listen, I've been hearing about the shower years, and apparently
19 years.
19 years. And apparently, as we sit here, the shower curtain is open. So she's patient with me, thankfully. But that's a little thing.
Right.
The shower curtain is a little thing. But when you get a bunch of little things adding up, and as a husband or as a wife, you're not responding and trying to actively improve on any of them,
Yeah.
your spouse feels like you don't care. They feel like you're not hearing them. They feel like you're not listening to them. And that is when marriages start to fall apart. It's the little things that add up to broken marriages, broken homes, broken families, and broken lives. And it's when we let those little things just keep adding up, and we don't, as wives, hear our spouse and respond.
Yes, I agree. And your mom said absolutely no toilet seat up. Thank you.
It's whatever.
Anyway, so I was saying all that, but then he said I was bashing him, but he had not let me go full circle yet because he cut me off. But it's fine.
I do that too.
Anyway, what I was going to say is, but those little things, those used to be big things to me. Over the years, they've become little things to me. Because there's so much more serious issues and somebody left the shower curtain open. And I could tell you guys why, but I might get to that later. But anyway, why it drives me crazy. Because it'll mildew. That's why it drives me crazy, just to throw that out there. Because it's all folded up and it's going to mildew. Anyway, and then I have to clean that off. So that's why I don't like it. I don't even know if you knew why I didn't like it.
I've heard that before.
Okay. But, he constantly is trying, though. And that obviously that means more to me than anything. If it was a big deal, if he thought it was actually a really big deal, he would try harder not to do those things. Yeah. But I would say a big one for him was smoking pot, anger, but the anger was kind of immediate. And I told you something else earlier that I thought was a big thing whenever I have to pull it up.
I don't know.
But you can tell mine and then I'll
Yeah,
continue.
one of I don't think I'm gonna say anything here that everyone doesn't already know that knows us. Tabitha is a bit of a spender, and that didn't just start in the last 3 to 4 years. That didn't just come up out of nowhere. It's just let me try. The less money you have, the less money you can spend. And so as we grow older and
We make more money.
make more money, as people do, he just spends more money. And I've always said, more money just means more bills, right? Like, it's relative. Yeah, Cheyenne, what? I know it's shocking, guys. Like, don't anybody pass out right now, but she does like to spend a little bit of money. But what my issue, and it was always been an issue, just like the shower curtain, is that I don't mind you spending money, and she knows that. I don't mind it. But it's
He, I was gonna say you have to approve everything by me.
yeah, no,
He's
no,
not
no,
that
no.
person at all.
Like I really don't care what you spend the money on, but we got to choose. We got to be wise with our spending, and frivolous things are not wise usage
Right.
of our finances, but more importantly, God's finance of what God has given me. It's not a wise usage of, and I don't know if you know this. I don't know that I should share this. I'm going to share this.
I'm scared.
One of the lowest points that I can remember was we were in this house, so it hasn't been
6 years.
6 years. Someone's house burnt down. I don't remember whose it was. Someone's house burned down, and she was telling me that they lost everything. They needed clothes. They had nothing. And I couldn't give to them because of the financial situation that we were in. And that had to be a turning point for me. Like I couldn't just in passing say something about it anymore. I had to be like, look.
But with that being said, what he said to me isn't what changed me.
No.
At all.
No,
God is what changed me.
Yeah, nothing.
I started praying about it, and I felt convicted by the Lord and by the Holy Spirit, and that's why I changed. It had nothing to do with him, and I hate to say that. But really, but it's not because I don't love him or care about him, but the Holy Spirit and Jesus, Jesus is more important to me than him, obviously, and he should be. And so when I got corrected, by the Holy Spirit, that's when I was like, oh no, I have to make a change. And I would say it's made a significant difference.
Yeah.
Significant difference.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So in your marriage, there are things about your spouse that rub you the wrong way, grind your gears, as I like to say. And you keep saying something and you keep saying something and you keep saying something. Well, if you're the one that's keeping on saying something, look for the small wins and acknowledge the small wins, acknowledge the change that you see, because when you acknowledge it, it is it lifts them up.
Yeah.
They know they're doing something right, because if you keep doing something and you keep doing it the way that they want you to, but they don't acknowledge that you're doing it the way that they want you to, it's discouraging, and you feel like, well, I'll just stop. I'll just go back to doing it the way that I was doing it, because they obviously don't care that I'm doing it the way they want me to now.
Right.
But if you're the one that is being told repeatedly, stop for a minute, think about it, listen to what they're saying, hear what they're saying, take it to the Lord and be like, Lord, show me what I need to do. Show me what my next step is, and then do it. Act on it. Move. Do something different. Say something different. Go ahead.
Yeah, and his third thing was communication. I cannot believe that wouldn't come to my head.
Yeah, really.
Anyway, um, he's still not a great communicator. He'll hold on to something until it's blown up so much in his head that now he's just added 15 things on top of each other. But he's nothing like he used to be. He would shut down immediately. And now he'll actually talk to me about things. Like, he shares things with me and communicates with me. And I tell him regularly, I'll say, you're so much different than you used to be. And he is. And I know that he won't ever be a communicator to the degree that I am, because we're just not the same people. But that's okay with me, because I take it as a win, the fact that he changed.
Mm.
And that's what we needed in our marriage.
Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead, baby.
No, I mean, what I was going to say was, every time that she would tell me that I needed to communicate better and I wouldn't do it, it would put up another brick in the wall around her heart. And every time that I would fail to do something that she would ask me to do, it just put up another brick in that wall around her heart. And for me to come in and think that, well, I communicated with you today, so that wall should be torn down, that's foolish. That's foolish thinking. You put the wall up one brick at a time, you're probably going to have to tear the wall down one brick at a time. And that is that those small wins that we're talking about. Every small win takes a brick down off of that wall and we're not looking, we're not looking to get back to where we were before the issues, right? We're not looking to get back to where we were. We're looking to move forward and lay a new foundation and grow and strengthen this marriage and strengthen this relationship into something that is lasting and is resilient and can bounce back when things come against us.
Yes, I agree. And there might be small things such as, like, honey-do list. This guy, not that great at honey-do list.
You told me 6 months ago. There's no need to remind me again.
Yeah, you tell him 6 months ago, and 6 months later, you have to tell him again. But in that 6 months, I've only said it 100 times, right?
Yeah.
So it irritates me, obviously. And I used to be very offended by it, because I would be like, well, if it was his friend calling, he would go help him, but I have this stuff in the house and he won't help me. This is how I thought. But then I changed my thinking. And I said, yeah, but if his friend calls, he goes to help the friend because he's going to that place to help the friend. If it's something in this house, he comes in this house every single day. So he's probably thinking, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. Oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. And that's probably what he's thinking. He's not doing it intentionally to upset me.
No.
Or to listen to me say it 50 times.
No, definitely not.
He has little things about me too that he don't like.
I just can't think of any right now.
The fact that I throw everything in the garbage?
That's a problem.
And tell him about our marriage license?
she so the night before we got married, we're looking for our marriage license and we can't find them. And I was like, why don't you look in the trash bag? And she's like, no, I didn't. Why would I put them in the trash bag? I was like, you throw everything away. They're probably in the trash bag. And we looked and we looked and we looked. And I was like, would you please just look in the trash bag? And guess where the marriage license were found? In the trash bag. Just like I said 3 hours earlier when we started looking for the marriage license.
Yeah.
And so she throws everything away. I'm like, I could have used that. I could have used that. I could have used that. She's like, you hadn't used it ever. Like, yeah, but I could have, right? I could have used it at some
Right.
point. So she throws everything away. And, you know, another small thing, but I no longer have a side of the vanity in the bathroom. We have 2 sinks in the bathroom.
It's a large.
It's a 6-foot vanity.
Yeah.
And from the left to the right, from front to back, is all her stuff. I
It's
have
true.
nowhere to put any of my stuff. And I'll say, where is my whatever? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Well, it's not where I left it. I left it right here. Oh, well, I put it up. It was up where I wanted it. But stuff just gets, moved around, and you just got to overlook it. You just got to keep moving. You got to move
Yeah.
on, because if you want to fight that battle, I say it this way: there's certain hills that I'm willing to die on, and there's certain hills that I'm not willing to die on. Where my stuff is on the bathroom counter is not a hill I want to die on. Me leaving the shower curtain open is not a hill that she wants
No.
to die on. But every once in a while, when I put something on the counter and it's still there when I go to look for it again, it may be 2 or 3 months from now. That's fine. I know where I left it. But when I go back and it's still there, that's exciting. That's a win. That's a small win.
I can assure you 2 months later, it's not in the same spot. Maybe 3 days later.
3 days later, 4 days later. I just want to be like, just leave my stuff alone. Just move your stuff. If you want to put your stuff up, then put your stuff up. But leave my stuff where it's at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 So
But
I'm done with that.
But I think through the years, you learn things, obviously, about your spouse that they don't like. And you learn things that are just definite no's for them. Like, you cannot do this because it's probably going to make them very upset. And I think that's a win. Whenever you learn those things about your spouse and then you don't do them to push their buttons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
I used to would, as soon as he took his pants off, I would clean his pockets out. And he doesn't like that because he likes, thank you, Bailey. Then he would know where his keys were. You right. Anyways, but whenever
I tell you what, if my keys were
Abel
where
said yes.
if my keys were where I left them, I know where they were at.
Where?
Either in my car, in my van, or on the counter.
Well, no
And
one's seen
somebody
your keys.
picked them up and moved them. I guarantee you.
Oh, I'm sure we did.
Yeah, I'm sure you
I
did.
bet we didn't,
Sure
guys.
did.
This guy has left his keys in a dryer vent and stuck the vent back together before. He don't need to tell me about where he left his keys.
I knew where they were at, though.
No, you didn't.
Well,
You didn't know where
after I
until
looked-
45 minutes
After
later.
I looked for them for a little while, I knew where they were at.
Anyways, I don't even know where I was going.
I don't either. This Slade bashing session is
He's a little
it's
sensitive,
about to
guys.
be winding down.
Cheyenne said they're in the trash bag. Probably. No.
You're
I
probably
actually
correct.
didn't throw them away. There's so many
You
on
didn't
there.
throw our marriage license away either.
I did that. Maybe that was a sign. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm glad I dug them back out. That would have been tragic. I'd have been so upset.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know what you're saying.
You would have been more upset. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, moving my stuff from one pair of pants to the other.
Yeah, Bailey said, "Welcome to the club," because we are always bashing her.
Oh.
But anyways, I know what I was saying. You learn things as you're married for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You learn things that are just no's for them, and when you don't do those things, that's a win. And, you know, he's always very good about, he's reading something on his phone. He's not being rude.
No, I got notes in that.
He's always very good about doing things that he knows makes me happy. And that's why I can let a lot of things go. Honestly.
Yeah. Same.
He's very good at paying attention to my needs. And that's why I can let so many things go.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree with that. She's a lot better at that than I am. She's a lot better at telling me thank you for doing the things that she's asked me to do. She's a lot better at verbalizing her appreciation. And that goes back to the
5 love languages.
that goes back to the 5 love languages. She can verbalize the appreciation better than I can. Whereas
But it's not something that comes natural to me
right.
to verbalize appreciation. But it's something that I think that he deserves. And so that's why I do it.
Yeah, and I need it. And
Yes.
I need the verbal attaboy, pat on the back. You're doing a good job.
Attaboy.
Keep up the good work. You know, I need to hear those things, and I know she does too, but she's better at it than I am. And so it's a struggle for me to verbalize those things. I don't know why. I really don't. But it just is. And so it, you know, she said it doesn't come natural to her. It comes even less natural to me. So,
Well, when we got together, when we started, y'all know we were not saved. So when we started living together, I saw that he needed that. And so at the time, I didn't know how to do that because that wasn't in my nature. So I would buy him cards that told him how much I loved him and how he was doing a good job and all of the things because I couldn't verbalize it for a long time. And he probably didn't even know that. I knew he needed it. So I bought cards that said the things he needed to hear. And that's where I started. And then now it's natural to me because I made it become natural to me.
yeah.
You can make things, if you know that's your spouse's love language, you can do it. I need that, but that's not my main love language. I need, so physical touch is usually, and it changes through the years, let me say that, but physical touch is always up there for me. And I mean, that can just be holding my hand, patting me on the back, whatever that looks like. I think words of affirmation second, but and quality time is huge for me. I want you to put down everything you're doing, like put down your phone, put down all of the things, and I want you to pay attention to me. And that matters. And I think that he always tries to do that. No matter what. He takes me on a date every week. Now, when the kids were little, obviously that wasn't possible to do that every week. But even when our kids were little, you've always taken me out of town for our anniversary for at least the weekend.
Yeah.
Now they're older and we'll leave them for a week or however long we feel like leaving them. But, but, oh, and by the way, our trip got canceled to the woods this
Yeah, guys,
weekend.
I'm sorry. You're not going to get any great pictures of the woods this weekend.
We're not going until the end of April.
Yeah, they have like tornadoes and stuff up there. And I just felt like it was in our best interest
Not to be in a treehouse.
not to be in a treehouse with the trees about to fall over. So, Cheyenne, I know you're devastated. I know you're disappointed about that. We will make it up to you. You will get great pictures of me in the forest at the end of April.
The end of April.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get him some hiking shoes.
Frivolous spending. Yeah.
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 All right.
So, but what matters most in your marriage is consistency. Consistency, and you keep showing up for each other over and over and over again. You know, if you, this may be a totally separate, live stream that I'm about to dive into here, but if you think that you can love your wife the same way in year 5 that you did in year 1, or in year 20 that you did in year 5, you are sorely mistaken. And that marriage that you thought was perfect and going great is going to fall apart all around you, because she's not the same person at
That's right.
I'm gonna I'm not the same person at almost 40 years old
Me
as
either.
I was when I was 20 years old. So she can't love 40-year-old me like I'm 20-year-old me. It's like parenting your children.
Right.
You don't parent your newborn the same way you do your 18-year-old. You don't parent your 3-year-old the same way you do your 14-year-old. They're in different places in their life, and they need different attention, and they need different parenting. When you're at a different stage in your marriage, you need to treat it differently. You need to always be evolving as a husband. You need to always be evolving as a wife, not um, not for your sake, but for your spouse's sake. And when you evolve for your spouse's sake to be um, always loving them better, then your life ultimately is the beneficiary of that. When when the Lord loves me in a way that I just want to make him happy, um, I want to do what the Lord has for me to do. It's not burdensome to do the work of the Lord. It's a gift to be able to do the work of the Lord. And when I do that, when I do the work of the Lord, I'm not doing it for him ultimately. Ultimately it's for him. I'm doing it with him, but while I'm here, it's making me into a better version of myself, and that is to be made into the image of Christ. Everything I do for Christ is to mold me into the image of Christ. And we need to look at our marriage in a similar way. Everything that I do for her ultimately is going to be a benefit to me, because she's going to be happy. And if she's happy, then everything else in the house is going to go way better than if she's not. Trust me. I've
Yeah.
seen them both.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes you're probably going to feel like you're losing in marriage,
Mm-hmm.
because there are there are seasons where you might feel um maybe just not as connected or whatever. It's not that you don't love them, or you're not, wanting to be married to, none of that. It's not that you're fighting. It's none of that. It's, you know, maybe it's you. Maybe it's nothing to do with them. Maybe it's you. And in that moment, though, you have to just sit back and just choose them.
Yeah.
Like, choose things to, I don't know about you guys, but like, if I'm having a hard time, I can do stuff for other people and it helps me through that hard time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, I mean, it's it's better to give than receive, right?
Yeah.
And so when you give to your wife and you give to your wife, and I'm not talking about stuff, I'm talking about love and affection,
Yeah.
and when you give those things, and there's no better feeling than the smile on their face and know that you did something for them to make them happy, and just keep going. Just keep
Yeah.
going. Be consistent in what you do. Be consistent in loving your wife. Be consistent in loving your husband. And ultimately, it all pays off in the end.
And if you haven't done the 5 love languages, I would say in the past year, it's something that everyone should do. I think that it's beneficial to everyone. It doesn't matter if you've been married 50 years or you've been married 1 year.
Yeah.
I think it's beneficial.
Yep.
And as I've said, it's changed through the years of what I needed in that season, which is why we do it probably once a year.
Yeah.
We'll sit down and do it and see where we're at, because I always want to make sure I'm loving him the way he wants to be loved. And to be honest, I thought that my love language was going to be gifts, but what I figured out is it's not the gift, it's the thought of the gift.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can be a $2 pack of Peachos from the gas station, and it makes me very excited because he thought of me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like nice gifts as well, because I do.
Well, we got to get that caveat in there.
Well, it's true.
But
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but I think it's important to know where your spouse stands.
Yeah, and I think we'll kind of wrap it up on this. I want to say, don't be mad at your spouse when their love language is acts of service. When they want you to take out the trash, Dre, or close the shower curtain, Slade, don't be surprised when, if that's the way they receive love, but all you want to do is go buy them gifts and show them the love that way. Well, they don't receive love by the gifts that you buy. They want acts of service. So don't be mad at them because you're not loving them correctly. Don't be mad at your spouse because you don't know how to love them. That's why we say do the 5 love languages. That way you know how to love each other. Because I can beat my head against the wall, think I'm showing her all the love that I could possibly show her, when in the end I'm showing her nothing except that I don't really know how she is loved.
Yeah.
And so do the 5 love languages. Figure out how to love each other properly. Figure out how you receive love. You may not even know how you receive love from your spouse, because they may be doing a lot of things for you, but you're not receiving it because you don't really know how you're supposed to receive love. So do the 5 love languages.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go do it and update them.
Yeah, because I'm sure it's changed since
We haven't done it in probably about a year.
Dre, what's your mouth wide open for like that? About what? Because I told you to take the trash out? Well, Whitney said she wanted you to take the trash out. Take the trash out, Dre. Whitney, put a bag in the trash can.
Or Dre, put a bag in the trash can. At my house, Gavin does that.
Gavin does all that. Gavin washes the clothes now. Gavin takes the trash out.
Gavin does get paid, though.
He does. Yeah.
We're not just making him.
I'm not slave driving over here. He's getting paid a living wage.
Yes. And I would say it decent. It only takes him about 4 hours a week total.
Yeah, a living wage.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing good.
He's doing great. Whitney told Dre to close it.
Hey, Jonathan, good to see you.
Yeah. But I'm so glad that you guys got on tonight.
Yeah, I'm so glad you were able to join us. Small win number 3 here. We made it through 3 of these things and haven't had an argument before, after, or during. So Good deal.
couldn't say the last time we had an argument.
No, I couldn't either, but